Hello my friends. Today I wanted to give you a peek inside my sketchbook now that I've had a few months to be working with it. This is my sketchbook. It was a dollar find I found at Joann's. It's just a basic little notebook that has some blank sheets of paper in it. It had this embellishment on it, and I just added some rub-ons and some washi tape to just decorate the cover. Then inside to sketch, I used this stamp from Stampin' Up. It's called Good Grid, which was the perfect size, and it gives me the perfect spot to start sketching out my card or scrapbook layout. The tip when using this stamp is to stamp it in a light colored ink so that you can see your pencil sketch atop of it. I highly recommend using pencil when you're sketching because you do change your mind a little bit, or if you can't sketch things exactly right, you give yourself a little bit of freedom to erase. So use a pencil when you're sketching. What I've done, as you can see, is I started to add a little bit of embellishment inside of my sketchbook. After I've completed the project, I usually have scraps or pieces that I thought I was going to use but I didn't use, or extras. So I just decided, okay, I'm going to decorate the inside of my sketchbook so it acts as a little bit more of a memory book of the cards and layouts that I've made, and it helps me use up those scrap pieces. So here's a good example. I had some extra hearts and some paper scraps here, so I just used those inside my sketchbook. So to start a sketch for a card, you have to first decide if you're going to be doing a horizontal card or a vertical card, meaning if it's going to be 5.5 inches wide or 5.5 inches tall. Just start by sketching the outline of your card. For me, that helps visually set the scale of what you're going to be creating. I personally like to have the products out that I plan on using, at least in my visual area when I'm sketching. For example, if I wanted to use this stamp, I would have it out in front of me when I'm sketching so that I could see what it has on it, what size it is, and things like that, so that when I'm sketching I can get the proportion correct, as well as I can visually see what I'm going to be using. Also, because my sketch is pretty generic, I may not draw all the intricate details. For example, if I were using this stamp, I would just draw an oval. I wouldn't show these little intricate details. But it's nice to know that it has it on the stamp, so because it does add some personality to the card that I may or may not want. So it's just good to see it, to remember what the image actually looks like, so that you can sketch out a little bit more closely to what you're going to get. So here you can see on some of my little sketch blocks I did multiple versions because maybe I couldn't make up my mind, or as I got creating one of them I changed my mind, so I just sketched below. So again, give yourself some freedom, and again, these are just sketches. It's something to give you a guideline for. There's no rules that says you have to make the card exactly the way you sketched it. So again, give yourself a little bit of freedom, and again, with this stamp it's nice because you do have the space for it if you draw a little bit smaller. So here I got 3 versions on this one square. Another little tidbit, here I'll just keep flipping through, oops, let me go this way. So another tip of ways that I like to sketch is I just started adding the date of when I made the card, as well as for the occasion I made the card, again just to make it a little more of a memory book. Also, I put a lot of notes, as you can see here. So not only do I have the sketch, but I even tell myself what color ink I plan on using. So again, here's the stamp I actually use for these heart images. Again, just for some embellishment. But it's that light pink that I actually used, and I had noted here to use. So it just ties it together. And then here I even told myself what color my card base was going to be. So I put an ivory base, and then here, chocolate chip sentiment. So I just reminded myself of what I was thinking when I drew this sketch. Because this was a baby neutral card, it had to be, for me, the ivory worked a lot better than being a stark white or craft. So again, these are just the kind of notes I add to my sketches, and I just draw arrows to the image that I'm talking about. And I just draw a rough shape sketch of the actual stamp image. I'm not a great artist by any means, but I just do my best. So here's another sketch I've done of these stickers I had of snowmen, as if you saw a few of my blog posts in the past. And again, just try to get the size correct. That would be my only tip when you're sketching, because I could have drew the snowman really tiny, but in actuality it did take up almost half of the card. So when I drew my outline and I saw the actual sticker, I measured it on my little craft mat and I saw what the height was in relation to the size of my card. So when I sketched it, I made sure I went a little bit above the halfway point. So again, just another tip of why it's nice to have the product out in front of you when you're sketching, so you can actually see those things, and if you have to measure, you can measure them. And again, just a rough sketch to help get the placement and sizes correct. As you can see here, I gave my note to use twine atop of a snowflake die cut, which I couldn't draw, I just drew a bow. So again, just something of a reminder of the embellishment I wanted to add there. Again, here I've noted the kissing technique, which was what the stamping technique I wanted to use on these images. So I didn't draw that out or do anything fancy there, I just wrote the note to remind myself of what I wanted to do there. So again, this is how I've done it. And again, I like adding these embellishments using my scraps from these cards. So again, that's just my own personal thing I like to do. But I highly recommend a sketchbook. It really does help you when you are in your room or you're in your space and you're making something. You have a little bit more direction, and you can actually create your projects quite a bit faster when you have a sketch to go by. Again, feel free to change your mind or try out a few things if you don't like it. You can even cross it out and put a note as to why it didn't work or why you didn't like it. That too may be helpful for the next time you sketch something. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you like looking into my sketchbook a little bit, and I definitely recommend this, and I will continue sketching and creating more for you. So thank you so much for your comments. I appreciate them, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.